Good morning, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News Now, coming to you from our digital desk. This morning we were set to bring you gavel-to-gavel coverage of what we're deeming deadly delivery. This was a love triangle story gone wrong. Husband and wife going through a custody battle of a previous wife. When the husband set up his ex-wife with the help of his new wife, Erica Stefanko, to set up an unassuming Ashley Biggs. She was a pizza delivery driver who was lured by Erica Stefanko putting in a fake pizza delivery order to a vacant business. When she arrives, her ex-husband, Cobb, was there to use a stun gun, beat her, kill her, and put her body back in the delivery vehicle and leave it out in the middle of nowhere. This all happened in Summit County, the Green area, basically the area around the airport in Akron, the Akron-Canton Airport. We were set to bring coverage today. We saw both sides, and there's Erica Stefanko in the gray, the light gray with glasses, the braided hair. But then we got a little bit of curveball. Now, the reason Erica Stefanko is getting a new trial is that in her original trial, when she was found guilty, and there is Ashley Biggs, when she was on trial, her ex-husband now, that man right there, Cobb, testified against her from prison because it was COVID. This was 2021. Well, that COVID is going to rear its ugly head again today. The appeal for Stefanko said that her ex-husband should have testified in court, not via video, even though it was COVID. That's why she was given a new trial. And just as we were set to get ready to go today, here's what we heard from the prosecution's office.
Co-counsel Brian LaPrenzi was feeling ill all weekend, and yesterday he took a COVID test, actually two, which are positive. He promptly called me, and I called your judicial attorney, Tristan, and we forwarded screenshots of those tests. I, in turn, took a COVID test. My test came back negative. I forwarded that to the judicial attorney, Tristan, as well. In all fairness, at that time, my head was hurting and I had pressure. I let the court and counsel know this morning. Throughout the night, I was coughing and my throat is scratchy and I am short of breath.
So COVID strikes again. The prosecutor, the co-counsel there, saying that the lead prosecutor on this case has COVID, and they asked for a 30-day continuance, a month continuance. Keep in mind, the jury had already been selected. In fact, the judge brought in the jury, explained to the jury that the lead prosecutor had COVID, and the judge denied the 30-day continuance. The judge very plainly said to the prosecution team, you have the lead prosecutor take a test every day at 6 p.m. You call my office. As soon as that lead prosecutor is negative, they expect to start the trial the next day. So that is where we're at. We want to continue our discussion. We know this is a popular case. It has drawn the attention nationally. We're going to welcome in one of our correspondents here that we use quite a bit, noted defense attorney Jared Klebanow. Jared, how are you this morning?
Good. How about yourself? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us, Jared. You were going to be a part of our coverage today anyway. You were watching as this unfolded this morning. You're in a courtroom quite often, so maybe your jaw didn't drop as far as ours did this morning. We really expected this 2 to 3 week trial to get underway today. What was your initial reaction?
Surprised like anybody when you expect something to begin, but not shocking. Especially in a post-COVID world, the court and judicial system has had to adjust just like everybody else. So courts have become, I think, a bit more sympathetic to illness and other issues going on. And especially in this case where COVID itself was in part a reason for the appeal and having to do this all over again, I think that the judge did the right thing. The judge has really two two roles here. She is not serving either party, but she needs to understand what's going on with both of them and do the best she can to balance their interests. So here, she had a request for a 30-day leave, and it was opposed. She understands this defendant has a right to a speedy trial. We already have a jury impaneled. I think she did a very nice job explaining to the jury what happened and being respectful of their time. With that said, she also wants to be fair to the state. This prosecutor has certainly done a lot of work and preparation and was intending on delivering that opening statement. So she really did a nice job, I think, of balancing those two interests and saying, look, we're not going to move forward today without the lead prosecutor, but as soon as you're healthy enough and ready to go, we're moving forward.
And let's talk about that opening statement and why that would have been so damaging maybe to the prosecutor's office, to the prosecution. As you said, this is clearly a case that they have been preparing for months, working on formulating an argument. The lead prosecutor is getting ready. This is how I'm going to address the jury. This is what I'm going to tell them. To have a switch like that at the last second, and all of a sudden your teammate, granted, just like in wrestling, tag, you're in. That's a little different, especially when it comes to opening. Why?
The opening really sets the tone, right? So the jury has been given some initial instructions. They have been voir dired. They've been questioned by the attorneys. But that first impression is so important, just like anything in life, whether it be a job interview, the first time you meet somebody new, you make an initial impression not only of that individual, but of what they're talking about, what the case is. And to strip the government of that opportunity because of 1 or 2 days, which presumably here will get started later this week. Obviously thoughts and prayers out to the prosecutor, make sure he's okay. The health of him is first and foremost, but assuming he's okay in a few days, they're going to get rolling. And I think what she wanted to avoid is any allegation again of her making a mistake that could affect the trial. So, that first impression is so important. And I think she wanted to be fair to both sides. And again, I think she did the right thing.
Let's talk about the state asking for a 30-day continuance, saying, hey, give us a month. Let's make sure he's healthy. Even the co-counsel appears to be a little unhealthy at this point, even though she's testing negative. Why, when it comes to the jury, would it be really hard to wait 30 days? Because I see a couple of scenarios. You either have to start all over and go through jury selection all over. Why is waiting 30 days kind of risky involving a jury?
Yeah, so on the jury front, I think things happen, right? So right now they have this jury that's here. A month from now, who knows what will be going on in these people's lives? Presumably work would not get in the way, right? Because they would still be required to attend and their employers would have to honor that. But what if one of these jurors either becomes ill, has a family issue, emergency? 30 days is a long time in the legal world, right? So to wait 30 days to begin, and if you lose some of these jurors, you are potentially having to restart the process if there's not enough alternates in place. And additionally, the right of the defendant to move forward when they are ready to do so and their rights. So I think the balance of the two is what led the judge to say, look, I'm going to split the difference here. And we're going to say, you're not going to get the full 30 days, but I'm not going to strip the lead prosecutor of the right to deliver that opening statement and then carry on with whatever other portions of the trial he was going to be in charge of. My guess is that they have shared duties between him and his co-counsel, but as lead attorney, he was probably taking on the bulk of the witnesses and especially some of the more prominent or important witnesses in the case.
Yeah, and more than likely, the first witness, whoever that is, I mean, you want to start strong, end strong, so to not be the lead and have that questioning from the prosecutor would be difficult. Jared, we appreciate the time. We get it. You also have to think about the jury as far as the instructions go from the judge. Every day that lead prosecutor must test, and by 6 p.m. and test at 6 p.m. Must call the judge's office, let the judge's office know the result. When it's negative, then they assume they will go the next day. I mean, where I see this as, wow, if I have COVID and just because I test negative doesn't mean I'm 100%. I mean, there's
Right.
usually some recovery time on the backside, but we'll see how that goes. Think about the jury being in their position, the judge saying you should know by 8 o'clock the night, every night at 8 o'clock, you'll know yes or no whether you have to be there the next morning. Yet another pain in the rear end for that jury. 8 o'clock at night, I'm finding if I have to go to work or if I have to get childcare or rearrange my life. Kind of interesting there.
Yeah, and I always say this in all of my cases, and I genuinely mean it whenever I'm in the courtroom. Jurors are everything in our judicial system, but I don't look past the burden that it takes to serve, and especially on a case like this. A lot of trials are 1, 2, 3 days. This is going to be a longer trial, so people are being asked to set aside their lives, both professional and personal, to carry out a really, really important civic duty that we have. So, again, I like anybody else, I think, in the legal community would thank these jurors and say, look, I know it is tough, but it is such an important job. And they should know, the judge is, of course, not doing this to burden them in any way. And if she could make it easier on them, she would. But, she has her tasks to perform to do her job well. And I think she's doing the best she can to balance everyone's interests.
Very good point. Jared Klebanow, noted defense attorney here in the Cleveland area. We certainly appreciate the time. Jared, we know you'll be with our coverage if and when we get up and running. Thanks for the time today, Jared.
No problem at all.
All right, take care. Just wanted to give you an update sort of where we are with this. It really was a little bit of a surprise, a little bit of a bombshell. Everybody thinking we were ready to go this morning, and we get this delay. How long is it going to be? Well, only COVID knows. And as Jared brought up, a little bit of irony here. That's why she got this retrial, was because her now ex-husband testified against her during COVID. It was 2021. Testified from prison with a mask on, was not present in the courtroom. When it went through appeals, the appellate judge said he needed to be there in the courtroom so that they could confront him, that the defense would have a chance to confront him right there in the courtroom. So we will wait and see. Of course, as soon as we find out, again, we'll probably find out like everybody else, 6:15, 6:30. We'll have to be in contact with the judge's office to see if we are a go for the next morning. As soon as we know, we guarantee we will let you know. If we have any other breaking news, it'll be right here on our digital platforms. Our 11 o'clock news just 40 minutes away on CW43, then our noon news on Channel 19. Until then, I'm Dan DeRose with 19 News. Stay healthy. Have a good day.
19 News is everywhere. Download our